All right, so it's looking like we got an update in this Kendrick Lamar situation with GNX. It's looking like we getting some new music from these hidden little updates. Maybe a deluxe. You never know what you're gonna get with Kendrick. Now, in our last update, we talked about how Drake got smoked by UMG in his previous lawsuit update. We also talked about how it looked like Drake actually ducked the fade from Kendrick Lamar. So we gonna get into this. You know me, it's your boy G back with another banger. Let's get into this, y'all. It's looking like this might get some new music. I'm hoping we do. I'm ready for it.
Now, when it comes to Kendrick Lamar, well, right now we just found out something so major, and it seems like all the speculation that we have had is coming true. As with what we have just seen, Kendrick is officially the most locked in that he has been all year at this point, as now currently, as Kendrick, SZA, and the rest of their crew have stopped down in the New York area for the Grand National Tour, which I went to the first night at MetLife Stadium and am probably going to the second, so be sure to leave a like and subscribe so you can hear
That
all about
DMX
that
chain
because I got a
on.
lot to say about the show. Well, with all of this, and Kendrick having a day off and 2 more show days in New York, what we have clearly seen is that he's not just touring in this time or doing what most other artists would during a tour, which is just sit back and be okay with their current success and just get ready for the shows. But in typical Kendrick fashion, he is just continuing to try and push the boundaries of what a rapper can do forward. As we have seen that Kendrick is actively working on something, as with a rare sighting of him in New York. We found out that he was busy spending his day off before his 2 MetLife shows in the studio. And now with what we officially know about where Kendrick Lamar was at and who is also in New York right now with him and his crew that he could possibly be working with, well, we now know Kendrick Lamar is locked in and is getting ready to drop something major. And now before we go any further into this, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. And now as our Kendrick Lamar theories are starting to actually become true and we are getting near the point where we are going to see what the next move in this all-time great run will actually be sure to leave that like and subscribe to stay up to date with everything Kendrick has coming. And now with that said, when it comes to Kendrick Lamar, I mean, there's really nothing like him in hip-hop right now, because with just a few photos of Kendrick coming out, everybody is wondering what this all means and what this is actually going to lead to. And really, with just a single moment of us seeing what Kendrick Lamar has going behind the scenes, which has literally caused more conversation than most other actual music drops from rappers because they are so bad currently. Of course, now with the level we have seen Kendrick moving at right now, this conversation is rightfully earned, and it really is important because we know when Kendrick is getting to work, something is going down. And now clearly with whatever Kendrick is going on in New York, with the energy that he had at the first MetLife Stadium show, which compared to the rest of the tour so far, which the bar was already so high for, Kendrick seemed more inspired and energized than ever. And now while there were a few reasons for that, I will talk about it more after seeing Kendrick's second MetLife show tonight, because it seems like he has a
I ain't gonna hold you. He killed this. He smoked the whole East Coast leg of his tour. From New Jersey to Philadelphia to New York. He is doing his thing everywhere he goes. And anybody who says that he isn't, DJ Academics including, they hating, y'all. Let's keep going.
surprise coming there, so again, be sure to be subscribed and ready for that. Well, beyond what's happening in the stadiums, what looks like happened right before these shows started is that Kendrick just made another all-time great moment in the studio the day before the show, and now with this picture and what Kendrick Lamar did specifically, well, as all we have seen are a few pictures of Kendrick Lamar rolling up to a studio in the West Village. I mean, while for most other rappers this would mean absolutely nothing. As Kendrick is going to the lab, and we know that for sure, this speaks volumes because however you want to put it, the biggest rapper in the game is still elevating his craft and trying to put something together. And now what's actually great is that because of everything we know, we can narrow down and figure out exactly what Kendrick Lamar is starting to work on here. And now when it comes to this, well, there are a few potential names that Kendrick Lamar could have been in the studio with and making music, whether it's for himself and that GNX Deluxe, which once again, to talk about that MetLife show, fans were chanted for all night, especially when he played Tiramisu. And really speaking of the show, it feels like it's becoming more real, especially after I actually heard Kendrick Lamar perform Tiramisu live, and you see how he places it in the set list of the tour within the most pivotal tracks in this era, which should just tell us so much. Or again, beyond solo work, Kendrick is getting ready to release another feature with the second artist after Playboi Carti and his album Music. And now what the best part is about all of this is that with everything we know, we can pretty much almost 100% say that Kendrick Lamar definitely made new music that we will end up hearing pretty soon. Because based on the way that Kendrick has and is seemingly continuing to create music and tell stories in the GNX era, he is making and writing verses as close to the release of them as possible to really reflect his thoughts and everything in general that he wants to say in real time. Which we have seen now over and over again, whether it's with the GNX album whose intro track Whacked Out Murals was based off an event that happened weeks before the record came out, and even the self-titled GNX track, which we know that the beat was made days before the record came out, and even with all of the songs he made with the West Coast artists, all of them said they were in the studio with Kendrick in October and that album came out in November. And even beyond just the GNX sessions, even with
Crazy.
Playboi Carti's music and the song Good Credit, which has a reference to Luka Doncic going to the Lakers in Kendrick's verse, and even A$AP Rocky and everything that happened between him and A$AP Rocky, which were both events that happened within a few weeks of the song dropping as well. Overall, when you understand this, we see that when Kendrick Lamar is in the studio and when a verse of his is coming out, it is for something that
means Kendrick Lamar be in the lab all the time, every time.
ready to have immediate impact on music, and they think that's going to end up being no different here. And so now when it comes to who Kendrick may have been working with in the studio here and who his next song is going to actually be with, well, the first and maybe most realistic person that Kendrick has been working with is none other than Roddy Ricch. And now as Roddy Ricch has been in New York this week alongside Kendrick, and he was at the MetLife shows but wasn't a guest and just sat back and enjoyed the show, well, we are seeing that Roddy is in New York, and it wasn't to come out on stage, and with what we are witnessing and how he has been with Kendrick's team for the past few days, and how he's talking about MetLife and talking about GNX and everything going on around him in general. I mean, it would make sense that Kendrick and Roddy, who of course collaborated on the GNX track Dodger Blue, could be getting ready to release another collab for Roddy's upcoming project, the Navy album, which is projected to release on July 18th, which is not too far from now. And again, as Roddy has been trying to push this album as a very significant moment in his career, and we know Kendrick Lamar's go-to collaborators like Terrace Martin have been working on the record for so long with him. I mean, Kendrick coming on this record, helping the West Coast, and putting together a big track with another major artist who supports everything that he is doing would all make a lot of sense with what he is trying to achieve in this era, and seems like this could be the very next move that we see from Kendrick. But now, aside from Roddy Ricch, there is a chance that this was for another collab, as the Met Gala was this week, and Pharrell and Pusha T were there, and they have been once again teasing their long-awaited Clips reunion album, and we even got a new snippet from the record. Well, it could be possible that Kendrick Lamar could have been meeting up with Pharrell and Push, who once again, just like Roddy Ricch,
I could actually see that. Him and Pusha T should get back in the studio and do their thing. I just seen that situation with Pusha T. Somebody walking up to him talking about his chain and all that, but he stayed 10-2. Shout out Pusha T. But yeah, I would love to see him in the studio with Roddy Ricch and Pusha T. That'd be fire.
On the smallest of rappers and artists who Kendrick Lamar does actually respect and get along with, and for these two specifically, Kendrick has always had a really strong friendship with them as well, all the way to the point that Kendrick and Push were working on It's Almost Dry and Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers together while using and talking about how they're using Pharrell's own beats and just listening to each other's songs, which we have all seen in the iconic studio session where Kendrick, Push, Pharrell, and some other people were listening to Jay-Z's verse on Neck and Wrist from Pusha T's album. And I mean, we know now the bond between these artists is good, and we have been hearing in the industry that Kendrick and Clips was always coming, and that it was going to change this album and hip-hop forever because of it. And once again, with all of this, maybe Kendrick was in the studio with them and was touching up his own work there, or maybe even delivering a verse for that record once and for all, which again, considering how Kendrick wants his verses to reflect the times, it would make sense that maybe he had a placeholder verse where it was just a plan to be on the record, and now he's actually recorded what is going to be released. And now beyond these names, it is also important to note that Playboi Carti has also been in New York, and again, seeing how Kendrick and Carti have linked up on tour already, and finding out that they have a surprisingly great creative relationship that is only growing now. I mean, as Carti wants to drop another album and Kendrick Lamar does have more music to drop still, they could be getting ready to release more music, but for all we know, at the very least, we can see that with Kendrick Lamar going to the studio and being within more sessions, he is continuing to just keep his run going, and whether this is a collab or a...
And that's a banger right there. That's a banger right there. Everybody he just said, I expect music to come out with them by these four people over the next year. I expect music from him and Roddy. I expect music. I didn't necessarily expect music from him and Pusha, but I would love music from him and Pusha. That's King Petty from the East and King Petty from the West. That'd be fire, yo. And then some music from Cardi and Kendrick. That'd be fire too, because I mean, Cardi got the wave right now. They already be doing shows together, so that would be fire. I think Fantastic Hip Hop, you smoked it on this joint. Like I see music from all four of them over the next year, and that would be fire. Each song would be fire. Each song would have their own story to it. The song with him and Cardi, I got him standing within the youth doing his thing. The song with him and Pusha T, I think it's going to be King Petty from the East and King Petty from the West coming together. And the song with him and Roddy, I think Roddy is still dope. I think Roddy also still needs that look also, and it's a dope look for the West Coast and Kendrick Lamar. Let me know what y'all think about this. Do y'all want some music from these four guys linking up? I could see it. I think it would be dope. I think it would be good for hip hop. And I think it would be good for the run of Kendrick Lamar to start giving these features out and giving these looks to different people to build his Avenger team, to build what he's going to be as the king of hip hop and who he wants to be getting them looks and those different things in hip hop. All right. So drop it in the comments. Let me know what y'all think about this. It's your boy, What's Up G. Also, I'm gonna put another video right here. It's gonna give you the update on some of the latest news of what UMG just did to Drake and how they smoked him in the latest lawsuit. It was nasty work. All right. If ain't nobody told you they love y'all, I love y'all. I'm out, y'all.